we're here on, frankly, a cold and a wet January morning, but Sportsvibe are graced with the presence of a true living legend. We're opposite a World Cup winner, UEFA Cup winner, FA Cup winner, Osvaldo Ossie Ardiles, or just Aussie to us mortals. We've escaped the cold and we've found ourselves behind the scenes in the dressing room at White Hart Lane. This club you made over 200 appearances for. You're in the Hall of Fame, as we've seen. It's a bit of a home away from home for you, no?
Well, absolutely. Tottenham is my second home. It was like that from the moment I arrived here with Ricky Villa in 1978. So I always have been like that. So I'm delighted to be here in White Hart Lane. It could be cold and it is very cold outside, but inside is very, very warm.
And you mentioned your journey with Ricky. You're the first, or pretty much the first foreign players to venture across to England. I guess you set a bit of a trend. Was it difficult to adjust to the culture here?
It was pretty difficult at the beginning, yes. It was not like it is today. Today it's a lot easier. Today you have internet, you have communication, it's a lot easier. Even to do simple things at the time was pretty difficult. For example, to telephone home to Argentina, you had to go through an operator. It cost you an absolute fortune. We were not winning the money that people are earning right now, so it was much more difficult. But after saying that, we initiated a great adventure, and Ricky and me, we both very happy that we did the change.
And you mentioned your, the difficulties of adjusting off the pitch. On the pitch, I suppose football in Argentina at club level is very different from the English league. Did you find problems with trying to adjust?
I found it, I wouldn't say easy, but I found it, I was, for example, I was player of the year, the first year for Spurs, so I adjusted quite quickly. Ricky always used to say that I was made for English football, say. Ricky found it much more difficult than me. But of course, it's one thing bring the other. You have to adjust very quickly outside football to adjust inside football. I don't know what comes first, the egg or the chicken.
I suppose the standout moment of your illustrious footballing career was, I guess, 1981, the FA Cup. I suppose a lot of Sportsvibe's younger viewers won't really understand how magical and how special the FA Cup was back then. It doesn't really have the same atmosphere now.
I think you maybe forget the World Cup in 1978, but however, I will talk about 1981 for England, of course. It was absolutely great. The FA Cup was, at the time, for example, you ask any British person if they prefer to win the FA Cup or to win the league, the majority will say the FA Cup. This is how big it was. Since then it has lost a little bit of power. It's not what it used to be, but it still is a great competition. It's a great competition to win. You finish playing the final at Wembley. This year, particularly when the year finished in one, we are particularly involved, particularly happy to be in the FA Cup. So I hope that the Spurs can go a long way this season.
We can't avoid it. I mean, 1981, it was the year of Ossie's dream. We've heard a few of your friends and even your son, who I'll get onto in a minute, actually have it as their ringtone. And we just heard your ringtone. Was it a particularly special thing to, link up with Chaz and Dave and release that single?
It was a great song, very catchy, very brilliant from that point of view for the football song. I think Chaz and Dave did a wonderful job there, and still to this day, for example, it's very famous, and especially people of Spurs carry on playing it. And yes, I was. They put my name into it. I wasn't particularly happy because I always thought that going into the FA Cup final was a team effort. It was not about me. It was about the team. But anyway, it was done like that. The players were happy because obviously we were going to sell one or two more records. So it was done, and to this day I'm pretty happy.
And we've talked about your greatest club achievement in '81, but we can't avoid '78, as you mentioned, the World Cup. Could you talk us briefly through that experience? I mean, I suppose it's difficult to explain, but
it's pretty difficult to explain. It's to win the World Cup is absolutely the maximum as a player. You always wanted. First, you wanted to win the national team. Well, no. First, you want to play in the first division of a club. Then you want to play in the national team. Then you want to be involved in one World Cup. Then you want to win it if you can. So to have all this dream come through, it is really wonderful. And to win it is very difficult to explain, but as soon as the game finished, it was a kind of obviously elation, obviously it was incredible happiness, kind of job well done, you think about your family, you think about your friends and so on, so it's a great, great emotion.
And the '78 World Cup marked a very important moment in your career. The following World Cup, '82, was, I suppose, a more difficult part of your career in that you left to join up with the national team, and the Falklands happened. Was that a difficult spell in your career?
It was the worst time of my life, as simple as that. It was incredible because in 1981 we won the cup with the Spurs, and 1981, 1982 we were even a better team because we have a lot of confidence and so on. We won the cup this year as well, in the FA Cup, and we were involved in Europe, and we were involved in the league and so on. That was probably the best team I have ever played in club level. But suddenly everything was going so nice, so beautiful, playing so well. I was playing the best football of my life in '81, '82. And suddenly everything went crashing down, and what produced that was the Falklands, certainly. After that I moved to France. My football suffered a lot. I could not believe I can play so bad. Something I had done all my life, and it was so, for me, football and training and so on, always very relaxed, just give me the ball and I will do things. Suddenly I became such a bad player. So like you said, it was, yes, certainly, it was the worst time of my life.
But of course the story didn't end there. You returned. 84 marked another great year for you, UEFA Cup. And I suppose you returned to a set of Spurs fans and a British public that still haven't fallen out of love with Ossie Ardiles.
No, that's right. I came back nearly immediately after I went to France. I knew very deep inside it was a bad move for me. It didn't work out. So I come back, and again we have the team have changed. Them. There were new players and so on. And of course we won the UEFA Cup. That was great in 1984, in what was in fact the last game of Keith Burkins as a manager. The club was doing a lot of changes. Obviously the club had to modernize as well, but there were a lot of changes. And but obviously we were very happy to actually won something, and to win something. Always a cup is great. The UEFA Cup is not the biggest cup in terms of Europe, but it's great to win something.
And I suppose it's obvious to us, but why do you think that the English fans just simply fell in love with you?
Because I was a good player. I fell in love as well with the fans. I mean, wherever I went, even places that were a little bit not very friendly, say Arsenal or West Ham or Chelsea and so on, I felt always a kind of admiration for me. So it was great. I mean, the best thing in life, apart from family and so on, I have to say that, if not my wife will kill me, but the best thing in life is to play football. Just to be here, for example, in this dressing room, to go into White Hart Lane and play a game Saturday 3 o'clock is just unbelievable happiness. Going training every day with the boys and so on, all we did was just play. And to be paid and quite handsomely to do that, it was just a dream. It's very difficult to describe it. And
finally, I think we've got to talk about it. Every sort of Christmas time, families gather around the television, and your big screen debut, Escape to Victory, comes on. You lined up with Bobby Moore and Pele, of course, but also with Sly Stallone.
Yep.
And Michael Caine.
Yep. Yep. Two wonderful players, actually.
How was that experience for you? It must have been something very different.
That was very different and absolutely great. We spent 1 month in Hungary, in Budapest, filming the concentration camp, in fact. Filming the film, so it was absolutely great. And to be in, I mean, I was incredibly happy to be in the company of Pelé and very especially Bobby Moore, that I became very friend of him, big friend of him. So it was great. The only disappointment probably was that, I mean, the big disappointment was Stallone. He was waiting for the Premier League to come and any club to come and sign him. But that didn't happen. It was a big disappointment. I understand that very well, because somehow I was waiting for a second opportunity from Hollywood, but it didn't come as well.